Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. And welcome to my breakdown of Loki episode 4. Welcome to my channel. How are you? What were your thoughts on the latest episode? Comment down below what your thoughts and theories are, because I love receiving comments and I love talking to you guys and hearing your thoughts. I am going to try and get all this in one part because kind of sick of doing 2 parts to each breakdown, and also it gives me another breakdown whilst having to edit all that. The editing is so annoying. And also I have a lot more I want to talk about this week, so I want to do other videos this week. If you would like to see me do my makeup for this video, go check out my makeup channel and the video will be up at some point this week when I get around to editing it. Alrighty then, so we can get into the video now because it's now working, and I'm going to just move you slightly so I can put things on the screen if needs be. So this week's episode starts off with a wonderful establishing shot of Asgard, and from an angle we've never actually seen Asgard before, I don't think, and so we have a lovely view of the palace here. Very like Lord of the Ringsy, I feel. Oh, when the sun comes over, oh, that is so pretty. I'm sorry, I'm just having a bit of a moment with Asgard. And we meet little Sylvie. In my last video, I was like, who is this little girl? Is she another variant or is she Sylvie? And we see she is in fact Sylvie, and this is where she gets taken from the TVA. They're just like, oh, we're gonna take this little girl who's like, I don't know, 10 in human years, and she just looks so innocent and happy, and she was just playing with her toys, and it's like, nope, we're gonna take her because she is not supposed to be here. I am glad they gave us Sylvie's backstory though, and showed us like when she first gets taken to the TVA, and we also see Renslayer as a hunter, so clearly she like moved up the ranks, and that's clearly something they can actually do in the TVA, so giving a bit more background into the actual organisation too. Also, we actually see Sylvie with like a Viking long boat too, which is obviously a connection to Norse mythology and Vikings. Now that they have it in the TVA, we see Sylvie go through the exact same process as Loki, and then she escapes. And with it going like straight to Renslayer after all that, it's as if she's remembering the variant, she's remembering Sylvie and the time she caught her, which is kind of peculiar because later on in the episode Renslayer does say, oh, she does remember her, but she doesn't remember like her Nexus event or anything, but maybe she's lying just to rile her up. And this is when we first get a glimpse of the Timekeepers, or what we believe to be the Timekeepers anyway. And it's all very ominous, and the veil of mystery around them, and nobody truly knows what they are or who they are, and we still don't know. Will we ever find out? We still don't know who they are. And we find out in this episode that Renslayer is truly good at lying. Like, oh, nearly as good as Loki. Like, you know, or maybe even better, because she's playing the entire organisation here. And obviously this is when Mobius starts questioning things, because C20 has died mysteriously. He wasn't able to see her, even though he was and his team were the ones who found her. And all of a sudden she's gone insane and was talking crazy talk, and yeah. But obviously Mobius, I think he's just starting to question things. And I just want to point out some good acting here. So I can't remember her name. I will find it and put it on the screen. The actress who plays Hunter B15, but we can tell straight away that she's not okay. There's something wrong. Her voice is trembly. She seems scared, but we're used to her being tough and not fearful at all. She doesn't take any crap, especially from variants. They're not important to her, and all of a sudden she seems quite terrified because she doesn't know what's going on in her mind. I mean, she thinks that Sylvie has manipulated her mind and has done what she did to C20, which is obviously the case, but they don't understand Sylvie's power with enchantment. So she's just kind of lost and has all these memories like in her head that she doesn't recognise. But there's so much good acting in this episode. It's so emotional and the actors just do it so well. And now we have the Nexus event, which, you know, is what the episode is called. Now, what do you think caused the Nexus event? I think there was several things in this moment where Sylvie takes Loki's arm because she's afraid. She's terrified. She don't want to die. She even said it like, this is where I'm going to die, and she's terrified. It's on her face. She is so scared to die. Loki is also like that. He is afraid of death, even though he's been in the face of death several times, and we've seen him die several times, but he never actually has, except in Infinity War. But in Infinity War, he didn't accept it either, because he tried to kill Thanos. It just didn't work. But here, I think they both look at each other, and it's not with love as a romantic love, it's with compassion, but also acceptance. So this massive Nexus event, I think, is because of all that putting together, and it boils down to them accepting their fate, because they have always been running from it. They never accepted their fate. They constantly pushed away from it and fought against it, and, you know, wanted to be the rulers of their own stories. But here, they just accept it. And I think that's what caused this massive spike. I'm going to talk about Loki and Sylvie's relationship in a different video, so I'm not going to go into too depth of my thoughts and feelings on this at the moment. But I do feel like it's not the love that people think it is, or the relationship, what people think it is. And now we're back in the TVA, and don't mind me whilst I just go insane over the fact that we have more Loki and Mobius content, because no offense to Loki and Sylvie, they're great and everything, but the dynamic between Loki and Mobius just is brilliant. The two actors are fantastic. They have great chemistry, which brings these characters closer together, and I just love it. And the fact that Mobius just said, no, you're just kind of an arsehole and a bad friend, I think actually gets to Loki a lot more than any other insult he'd ever had thrown at him. Because, well, one, Mobius just called him a friend, and two, he then called him a bad friend. Imagine never having a friend, and then the only friend you've ever had calls you a bad friend. Like, that must, like, just blow his mind. And you can tell, like, by his expression here, he's like, oh, I didn't realise we were friends. And it makes me just... It also zooms in slightly on his face, and he looks away, and he seems quite hurt, and probably not realising how to react, like, to that at all. And when Loki says to Mobius, the TVA is lying to you, they also zoom in quite a bit slowly onto Mobius. And I don't know, I got a sense of Mobius kind of feeling again conflicted. Like, what? Because he's already got that doubt in his mind. And it's just these kind of really subtle little like pans in and out they do, which gives you a sense of the character's emotions. But it's also thanks to the actors. I wouldn't be able to do that, but these guys are ridiculous in this episode. And then this, I'm sorry, Sif is brilliant. Like, I love her so much. And yeah, she really, we know she really doesn't like Loki at all. Not because he's the god of mischief and he's just mischievous, but because he has done so much wrong to her, her loved ones, everyone she fights for. So she really doesn't like him. But this whole sequence of her going back round and back round again and constantly beating up Loki, I think is so clever to make him realise, oh, wait, actually, I aren't that nice and I'm not a good person. Because at first he tries to, tell her, oh, this is what's happening. And, he tries to manipulate her a little bit and be like, you can trust me, we need to get out of here and I can save you. And obviously that's not gonna work because it's Sif. Sif knows him and she's not gonna fall for his BS, even though it's not. But it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf, which basically sums up Loki, because no one ever believes what he has to say because he's such a pathological liar. And Loki finally, I think, realizes that he has to admit to himself who he truly is and what he has truly been like. We see here Loki literally on his knees begging Sif to stop. Because, yes, he's probably in a lot of physical pain, but also mental pain. This must be so draining for him to hear the same thing over and over again, that he is not worthy and he's going to be alone forever, and he's just destined to be alone and he's a horrible person. But it works because he finally admits to himself, I crave attention. That is why I do all these things, because I crave attention. And he doesn't want to be alone. He fears being alone. And he also admits to himself that he is a narcissist. And this scene was so, again, emotional. This whole frigging episode was so emotional. And this is just where Loki really does have an arc, and his realization of what he truly is like. And it's something that brings him forward and helps him through the rest of this episode, potentially through the rest of the series. But obviously Sif still says to him, you're going to be alone. And we don't know if that is like a form of Sif's personality and they've kind of just like reconstructed it and taken it from what she potentially would say, or they have the TVA even have constructed this completely to get Loki to talk and to break him, as Renslayer says. Because as soon as Loki says what he does to Sif, Mobius shows up. I'm like, okay, Loki, let's go. And I'm going to interrogate you now. I also liked it when Loki was saying how Sylvie is irritating and she's always trying to hit me, and it's like, yeah, because you're irritating as hell. That's why. I just really liked that line. And he's basically describing himself. And then obviously Mobius is like, so you're partners? And it's like, no, of course not. And Mobius is kind of bitter. And he's like, yeah, I guess you don't really do partners, do you? And this is a different side of Mobius we're actually seeing. Because Mobius is clearly annoyed with Loki, but also, yeah, like I said, kind of bitter and just kind of, I don't know, is he jealous? Now I just want to talk about these shots, super close up side profiles of Loki and Mobius as they talk about the Nexus event and obviously Loki lying but trying to protect Sylvie, which I thought was really cute. Downplaying it, but that's also showing him his character development, because since when would Loki take the fall for somebody and, you know, look out for someone? He hasn't and wouldn't until now, because he now has this connection, this like friendship with somebody. But yeah, these shots, the side profiles, we've never seen that kind of angle in this before. We always have it where they are like this, where we are either looking from them either straight on or from a slight angle and up from below a bit, but never a profile. So I just feel like that really showed like the tension and their personalities and their response to each other even clearer. And this is where Loki tells Loki, I was going to say Tom Hiddleston, tells Loki that, or, you know, lies to Loki about them pruning Sylvie, and his whole demeanor changes. And he even has tears in his eyes because his companion, friend, self, I don't even know what to call her, has potentially been killed. And Mobius then picks up on this. And this scene is so powerful. It's just, again, them two talking to one another. And Mobius, again, interrogating Loki. But these scenes throughout the series have been so good and so powerful and highly emotional. And it's just, that is such a compliment to the actors, being able to do that and make them so gripping when it's just two people talking. And then we have obviously Mobius being like, wait, are you crying? Like, really puzzled and being like, and then kind of figuring that's where the Nexus event comes from, because you've developed this sick, twisted crush on yourself and calls him a narcissist and everything. But like I said, I don't think that is the case. Then we move on to B15 in the corridor, trying to really figure out what's happening. And she's really, really confused, isn't she? And she looks at this poster. Did you get them all? Verify through delete. Verify thorough deletion. So, what do you think this means? Like, did you get them all? Like, did you get all the variants? Did you get all the Lokis? Did you... I don't know. I really don't know what it could mean. But she then takes Sylvie back into like 2050 something, and gets Sylvie to give her memories back. And I really liked the touch where Sylvie says to B15 that were the same. And B15 always had this idea of variants where they were lesser than her, and they were just variants. They were nothing but cosmic disappointments that needed to be pruned, and that was it. And now she realizes that, oh, we are actually alike. And it brings us to the end fight scene. But before the end fight scene, there's so much to talk about in this video, it's really annoying. Before the end fight scene though, we do have Mobius talking to Renslayer and not trusting her more and more, stealing the Tempad and seeing C20 and their demise. But it's just this scene where Loki is back in the time cell, and yeah, Mobius says you can be whoever you want to be, even someone good. And just in case anyone ever told you different. And Loki obviously may never have been told that, and it's just that whole character development again, where he now has a friend and he can choose to be good, even if he is the god of mischief. And then we're going to just skip over the bit where Mobius gets pruned, because that was heartbreaking and but again, some amazing acting from Tom Hiddleston, because we see the pain of losing Mobius and what it does to him in his eyes. Like, oh my god, it's heart-wrenching. But due to the end credit scene, we know Mobius is not dead. Or I'm just hoping he's not dead. And we definitely have to talk about the timekeepers themselves being androids. Like, Sylvie, whips off one of their heads and picks up it, and they're both like, oh, gross. But they, soon realize that they're not real. And it's very Wizard of Oz like. The man behind the curtain, the whole smoke and mirrors, and the wizard actually not being this almighty, powerful Oz. He's just a guy from, our world. And likewise with the timekeepers. They aren't actually who they say they are, and this whole facade is just smoke and mirrors. Then we kind of have to talk about this, but I already have mentioned what my thoughts are on this. And what do you think Loki was going to say? I don't think he was going to say what everyone thinks he was going to say, like, I love you, or something like that. Because, I don't know, or he was, but it's not like the romantic love that everyone thinks, I don't think. I'm going to keep saying that. And then we have the end credit scene, and we could talk about this a lot, and I think I might just do a video of talking about this end credit scene. If there's cinematic parallels in it, obviously new Loki variants who we've never seen before, and all from the comics and different versions of Loki. Yeah, and there's also very interesting things in the background too. So I do feel like this was quite a long video, but hopefully it's not a two-parter. Hopefully, because I can't deal with two-part videos anymore. And that is my breakdown whilst having a breakdown. I think I've been pretty good on this video, to be honest. I've not been that chaotic, but you didn't see me watching it and crying and going nuts and being like, what is happening? But yeah, I'll hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one, hopefully.